All right, everyone, we might get started. So good evening and welcome to our steak night cooking workshop this evening. One of my favorite questions I always get asked is, Thermomix is great, but you can't do steak in it. So I wanted to showcase a couple of dishes tonight that cook steak with the Thermomix. And so we're going to do 3 dishes. We're going to do a sous vide steak with a Bernays sauce. We're also going to do a seared steak rocket salad. And then I'm going to do a beetroot salad, which is a really nice side as well if you're entertaining and having friends and family. It's especially nice during summer. And I like to add a couple of little extra additions, which I'll show you a little bit later on. I have the lovely Tracy Hill, who is joining us tonight, who is a lovely consultant in my team, who will be helping out as well. She'll be monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions throughout the cooking class, please just pop them into the chat and she'll be able to answer them as we go along. And I always love it, your input. If you've got any hints or tips about what we're talking about, please share, because that's the whole point of these classes, so that you can get to know your Thermomix and get the most from your investment as well. So tonight, as I mentioned, we have 3 dishes. Now, the first one being the sous vide steak, which I have started earlier because it does take an hour and a half. So it literally just finished in the bowl. But what I wanted to do is show you how to do the preparation for sous vide. So sous vide is you're cooking it in a bag, in a vacuum sealed bag, and it allows you to retain all those beautiful juices and really make the most of it. So it's cooking at low heat for a period of time immersed in water. So the TM6 has a specific sous vide mode. One of my favourite things that I love to cook besides the steak in the sous vide mode is actually also salmon with just a bay leaf, some lemon, and it just comes out absolutely perfect every time. So to start with, I'll show you how I prepared the steak to go in. Now, I've just done small portions of steak because my kids don't eat a lot, and this is going to be their dinner when we're done, one of the perks of the job. But what I've done is, so I had the steak and I just got my butcher to chop it up for me when I bought it. I'm using rump steak, and what I've done is I've just seasoned it with some salt and pepper. And then what's involved with getting it ready to go in the water is we actually season it with the salt and pepper. For this steak, I'm actually using some rosemary, beautiful and fresh from the garden. I just pop a little bit of rosemary and also some thyme, which is a bit hard to see, but some thyme, which also is having a field day in my garden. So one of the things I love is using really fresh herbs and everything. So I grow those in abundance as well. So I've seasoned the steak portions with some salt and pepper, added those on. Now, one of the misconceptions is to do sous vide that you need to have a vacuum sealer, and that's not necessarily the case. Now, you can get a vacuum sealer and reusable vacuum seal bags from the mix shop, which are also great for preserving and storing food or using them for marinades, but they're perfect as sous vide as well. But tonight, just to show you that you can try this at home without investing straight away into that, I'm going to show you how to do the water immersion method. So I've got a bowl of water here. And what I do is I just get the Ziploc bag. Make sure you get a good quality one to use for it if you are doing this. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the steak into the bag, just like that. Oh, this one wants to stick. Hang on. So I'm going to put 2 steaks in there. I'm going to pop the herb seasoning on top. Pop the other one in. So just like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to seal that across most of the way, but I'm going to leave about 1 inch at the end because I want the air to escape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the Ziploc bag into the water and fully immerse it, allowing the air to escape there. So if I push that down, that pushes all the air out. So you want it nearly to the top to get as much air out as possible. Just seal that bag up. Done. And you can see there, I've got that nice and firm in the bag, all the air's out, so I've created that vacuum there as well. The next step in the sous vide recipe is to actually insert your wave cover. Now, as I mentioned, I've already cooked the sous vide steak in here. So the blade cover goes in the bottom, and what that allows you to do is to use the whole bowl to cook this. So I've done up to 6 steaks that size, or 3 medium-sized steaks. But the blade cover goes in the bottom. You pop the water in with some lemon juice, heat it up, put your bags in, and then that cooks it for an hour and a half at 55 degrees in the water. So I won't take that too far, but you can see the steaks I've got in there at the moment. And with those steaks, I actually prolong the cooking time. So the particular recipe that we're using tonight, the sous vide with the Bernays, it cooks it rare. And I like it just a little bit more well done. So I just extended the cooking time slightly for that one as well. All right, so I'm going to pop this over here for the minute and come back to the sous vide, because I'm going to get our seared steak rocket salad started. All right. Okay. So I'm going to go into cookie dough. So for those of you who have a TM6, I'm actually curious, Tracy, would you mind sharing the question on there? I'd love to know what model Thermomix you do currently have. So if you've got any questions along the way, we can cover that as well. So Tracy's just going to pop up a quick poll to let us know what type of machine you're currently using. But with the TM6, I'm going to go straight into cookie dough. And I'm just going to type in, oops, that's the wrong one, but that's okay.
Sorry, that was the first one.
Yeah, I'm annoying. I don't do things in order. You might learn along the way tonight, guys. I'm a little bit technologically challenged, which is ironic considering I do most of my business online these days. But I go into the cookie dough screen on the machine, and I'm just going to type in seared steak. And that comes up. All right, so I've got that up on the screen. And one of our first steps, now if you want to have a look ahead, I like to get my ingredients out beforehand when I'm doing a dish, just to triple check I make sure I've got absolutely everything, or if I need to find a substitute. So if I click down on the little arrow in the middle, it will give me the list of ingredients plus the steps, so I can have a look back through the machine. I can have a look ahead in the recipe if I want to do, if I can do any of the prep as I go, or how long each step's going to take. If I want to wander off and do something else, that's the beauty of the Thermomix. I can leave it unattended. So then I can just hit start cooking. Now, with this particular recipe, go back to the recipe detail. With this particular recipe, it is a prep time of 30 minutes and a total time of 35 minutes. So there's really actually not a lot involved. The biggest thing is preparing the salad, which took probably about 5 minutes.
Amanda, I'm going to launch the Thermomix models poll. Is that the one you wanted?
Thank you, Tracy. So guys, if you just, Tracy's going to pop that poll up. If you just want to select which model Thermomix that you currently have, so whether it's the TM6, so if you're lucky enough to have multiple Thermomixes, just what the latest model is that you currently own. Did I just close that poll on you?
No.
No, awesome. Okay, so while you're going through that, I'll just talk through our first steps. So our first step on this one, we're going to add in 20 grams of oil. That's about a tablespoon. And as always, you weigh straight into the machine. And I'm going to add in 50 grams of onion. Now, I don't have fresh tarragon, so I've just used dried tarragon, which is the next step. So I've got the onion and the tarragon in there. I've actually just started growing some tarragon. It can be a little bit difficult to get from the supermarket. So worst case scenario, just use the dried if you have to. So I've added in 50 grams of onion.
I've just shared our poll results, Amanda. So we've got 90% TM6 owners of the people that answered.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. So that's great. So hopefully you can pick up some tips with using your TM6 tonight. So I popped on the lid. So insert the measuring cup. And this is going to saute that onion for 2 minutes. So that's going to go through with the tarragon and saute the onion for us. And while that does that, I'm actually going to jump in and I'm going to make the beetroot salad because it is such a quick recipe. So I'm going to grab my second bowl, pop that on the Thermomix. So who's made the beetroot salad before? Or who's made it without their Thermomix? So tonight I've actually halved this recipe because there is no way we'll eat all of this. So if you're not, if you're entertaining, it's great because it does make a lot really quickly. But because we're having this as a side for dinner tonight, I have halved the recipe. I click on beetroot salad. Okay, so I'm going to grab the ingredients for my beetroot salad. All right. So again, from my garden, I'm a little obsessed with growing my own fruit, veg, and herbs because I just love using those fresh ingredients. So this beetroot is actually straight from my garden tonight, so I'll pick that. So the recipe calls for 400 grams. We're popping in 200 grams of beetroot there. Next, it's asking for 100 grams of carrots. So I think I've got 70 grams here. I just grabbed the small carrot out. And you can see you really don't have to chop it up very much. 20 grams of onion. So I'm actually I'm using red onion. So a little bit of red onion in there. One green apple, quartered. So I've got half a green apple there. Pop that in. And it's asking for either some coriander or some parsley. So I've just grabbed some parsley straight from my garden, and that's going in there as well. All right, 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. I'm a bit of a free pourer. If you're not confident free pouring, if you click on the 3 little dots up in the corner, you can go scales. And that is 1 tablespoon of olive oil is around 20 grams. So I'm going to weigh in about 40 grams of olive oil. Now this could take a little while. Really going to take that pour off. All right, so I put in the 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 10 to 20 grams of lemon juice. Now I mentioned putting some lemon juice in the bowl with the sous vide before, and the reason being you don't want to cause rust. The lemon juice helps offset any rust caused by long amounts of time with water in there. You'll find that as well if you do a lot of growing dishes too. We're going to do some salt, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, pinch of black pepper, and pinch of sugar if you'd like to. I'm not going to add the sugar in this evening. All right, I'm just going to give that a quick turn for 5 seconds. And when I say this is a quick and easy dish, this is how quick and easy it is. I'm going to show you here. That's done. So there's your beautiful, vibrant, you can see all the colour in there. Now, one thing I like to do, so when I serve this up shortly, I actually like to add some warmed walnuts and some feta on top as well, just for a little bit of extra flavour and texture. I'm a huge feta fan. So yeah, so I'll pop that one over there and we'll move on to the next step with the seed salad as well. Are there any questions about the beetroot salad, Tracy?
No questions so far. Marlene's made it and it's delicious.
Awesome. It is absolutely delicious. All right, now give me 1 sec. I'm just going to give this onion a quick chop. 3 seconds. Beautiful. So you can park your recipe and go in and out just by using the bookmark up the top. Okay. So I'm adding in, where are we? Oh, there we go. So I am adding in some rosemary. And I'm adding in the whole sprig because I'm actually going to take this out. This is just getting added in flavour. Actually, I might just chop that into a couple of pieces. So adding that straight in the bowl. And we're going to go 200 grams of rump steak. So I have cut that into 4 to 5 centimetre strips. So that goes in like that. And what you want to do is when you're adding that steak into the bowl, you just want to make sure that it's spread evenly around the bottom of the bowl so that it cooks properly. So you can see there, I've just spread that around the blade. So it actually tells you to ensure the steak is distributed evenly. And one of my favourite features, we're going to use the high heat function on this. So for those in the TM5, you won't have seen this before. This is our splash guard. So it's designed to be able to allow steam to be released, but not allow oil to spit up. So it's cooking as if you're cooking it on the frying pan, but without, you know, all that spitting and oil splashing everywhere. So that actually stops that on there as well. All right, so I'm going to turn that on now. So that's going to cook for 6 minutes on high heat. Now, meanwhile, it will ask you to prepare the salad. Now, I've already done the salad portion. It was really quick and easy, and I'll show you what it looks like. I've made the mistake before when I've presented this, and I didn't take the water out of the lid. So you'll notice that I'm actually using my Veroma dish. Because I washed everything in the Veroma dish, I'm a minimalist. I don't like mess. So I multi-purpose my steaming basket and my Veroma to wherever I'm washing and draining things. So I rinsed everything straight in here. And I'm actually just going to leave the lid under there and serve it in the Veroma. Why create more washing up than you need to? But in here, you'll notice that we have, so we've got, I think, 70 grams of rocket salad, which is quite a bit. We've got some cherry tomatoes now. I've got cherry tomatoes going absolutely insane in my garden, but they're not quite right. So I've actually used some Perinos in here, some avocado, and also some caper berries. And I'll just show you the caper berries are quite big. So we've got about 40 grams of caper berries and about 120 grams. The great thing about this dish is if you are feeding a lot of people, it's quite easy to bulk up because it's a salad. You can just add in some extra tomatoes, avocado, lettuce, etc., and you've got it there all ready to go.
Amanda, where would one buy a caperberry from?
I'll show you just from the supermarket. I'll show you what they look like. Hang on. So if you, I believe they're in the section where you go into like where they've got like all the normal like capers,
like gherkins in the gherkin aisle.
That's the one. So that's here. So these are just whole brand caper berries. I probably use maybe a third of the jar. I love them. The kids, not so much. So I haven't put heaps in the salad, just enough for myself. Sharon
would like to know what they taste like.
I'm trying to think of the best way to describe them. Hang on. They add a little bit of saltiness to the salad. So I think that's the best way to describe it. They add some saltiness to the salad. They are quite a strong flavour, so you wouldn't want to put lots and lots of them in there anyway. So, but they do mix in, once you mix in with the other ingredients like the tomato and the lettuce and everything, they're quite good. But if you eat it on its own, they're a little bit, they're very strong. All right, so while that gets started, I'm going to grab my other bowl and we're going to get the Bernays sauce started. So because I've already started this recipe earlier, I'm going to go into recently cooked and click on the sous vide state. And I've got the option to resume or restart. So I'm going to click resume and it's going to take me back. And we're going to add in 50 grams of eschalots. I don't have eschalots, so I'm just using an onion in this case. So pop that in there and I've chopped that up finely. What have I done there? Oh, I've put the wrong onion in. Hang on a second. So I'm going to add some tarragon in. I've got some tarragon in my other one, but that doesn't matter. Add some tarragon in. And I'm going to pop the lid on. And that's going to chop that up finely for 5 seconds. All right, I'm going to scrape down the sides. And I'll just show you. Let's chop that up nice and finely. One of my favourite things in the Thermomix is the fact that it chops onions, because I can cry from a metre away with onions on. So we scrape that down. All right, in here I've got some 50 grams of dry white wine, and it also asks for white wine vinegar. I didn't have white wine vinegar, so I've just used some apple cider vinegar. So it's only 1 tablespoon. So I'm going to tip that in. I'm going to pop the lid back on. And that is going to cook for, let me have a look, 5 minutes at 100 degrees on speed 2. So that'll go through. Now, at this point in time, I am going to, this is where you then steer your steak. So we've cooked it sous vide in the bowl. And so now I'm just going to pop it on. I'm going to cheat a little bit tonight. I'm actually doing it on my sandwich press because my stove is under here. I usually don't use it. So I'm going to do that. Tracy, while I quickly pop that on the press to sear it. So I'm going to put a little bit of butter on. I'm going to sear it for 20 seconds. So Tracy, if you don't mind just popping up our current post rewards. So I'd love you guys to check out and see what's on offer at the moment. And if there's anything that piques your interest, you can let us know. All right, so that's just searing. Close that off. Awesome. Okay, so in the meantime, our steak has cooked in here for a rocket salad. So what I'm going to do is I'm just grabbing my varoma with the salad in it, because I need to transfer the beef and the onion into the bowl, but you're going to discard the rosemary. The rosemary does not go in with the salad. I'm just going to flip that over there. I'm going to use some tongs. All right, so I've got my tongs there. I'm going to take that piece of rosemary back out. Now I want to leave the juice from the meat in the bowl, because that is going to help us make the dressing for the salad. All right, so you probably can't see it in there, but I have left the juices in the bottom. I won't hit it too far. And then I'm going to hit next. And I'm going to throw in 30 grams of carved walnuts. And then I've got 20 grams of oil. 10 grams of lime juice and 10 grams of honey, which I've got in here. And you'll see here, these are actually my consultant bowls, but these are beautiful bamboo eco bowls. You can actually get them in a set of 4 and some beautiful colours on the mix up as well. All right. Done. Okay, and I've already added in the salt and the pepper. I'm going to pop my lid on with my measuring cup this time so we don't need the splash guard. We're only using that when we use the high heat mode at 160 degrees. All right, that's just chopped at speed 5 to 50 seconds. And I'm going to tip that now into the salad. So it's a bit of a chunky dressing. We'll go come in out. We're going to mix that. And done. So how quick and easy was that? There's my seared steak salad. That's ready to go. So you can serve that on its own, or you can serve it as a side again, depending on if you're entertaining. But it's absolutely delicious. So got that one there. Any questions about the seared steak salad? As you saw, it's a really quick and easy one. It says 35 minutes. 30 minutes of that is prep, but there really isn't a lot of prep. Realistically, you could even buy the beef strips already done if you're short on time, or if you're doing a few different dishes as well. But there's the seared steak. All right, now our Bernays sauce. Okay, so we're going to add in, it's so much butter, 200 grams of unsalted butter, cut into pieces. I'm just going to use my fingers because it's just my kids. I've got 4 egg yolks, 1 teaspoon of salt and a pinch of black pepper. That's going to go in there as well. Pop the lid on. And now that's going to cook for 4 minutes at 70 degrees, speed 4 to emulsify that. I'm not sure if you can still hear me. Sorry.
Hear you.
So, you can? Awesome. So I'm just going to, that's going to be our Bernays sauce for the steak, but what I'm going to do now is grab our salad here. He said the colour is amazing. I've got some walnuts that I pre-warmed in the oven earlier. I'm just going to chop the salad with some of the walnuts. Now you may want to break the walnuts into slightly small pieces, it's up to you. And a bit of parsley on top to make it pretty. And done. So you can see from that quantity, as I said, if you make, I've halved it. but it does make quite a lot, and it's a really quick and easy one. I've topped it with the walnuts. You don't have to top it with the walnuts and the feta. It's just personal preference. And yes, Sharon, it is so, so yummy. So we're going to enjoy that for dinner this evening. So I'll pop that one over here. And this has still got about 1:50 to go. So I'd love for you to share in the chat what's one dish that you would love to try and make sous vide. So would it be salmon? Would it be chicken, steak? Who's actually tried doing the steak in the Thermomix sous vide? Scrambled eggs. Yes, that is on my list. I've not done the sous vide scrambled eggs yet. So just a tip, if sous vide is something that you do want to have a play around with, what you can do is you can go into Cookie Doo and in the search bar, simply type in sous vide. Now, if you're curious as to what's involved with sous vide, what the benefits are, so it's one of the great things about cooking sous vide is it's maintaining all the juice and the nutrients. So there is actually an article we'll share in the chat that's in Cookie Doo, so you can have a read up and see just what you can do with the sous vide mode. It's not just for the steak, but I've just done a sear on the steak. I've left that to rest for 5 minutes while we're doing the Bernays sauce. The reason being you want to let your meat rest, gives it a chance for all the juices to reabsorb back in, and so it's not drying out or anything like that. If you're like me and not very good when it comes to cooking meat, so like I'm cooking roasts and things like that, or even if you're cooking a whole chicken in the broma in the top, I do suggest investing in one of these, and this is a Meter Plus. So it's actually a smart connected thermometer. And the great thing about the Meter Plus is you pop it in, jump in the app via Bluetooth, you're able to select the cut of meat that you're cooking, how you want it done, so medium, rare, well done. It will tell you, it will measure the ambient temperature, the temperature of the meat, and it will tell you how long it's going to take to cook, let you know when to take it out of the oven, and it will also let you know how long to rest it for, and you'll get alerts on your phone to say, hey, it's ready to serve. I've actually got 2 of these because we quite often cook for 10 to 12 people, so we might have 2 or 3 roasts going or a chicken in the Veroma, so they are a really worthwhile investment. I love the smart connectivity of the Thermomix, so this is just an extension to that as well. All right, so that is now done. I'll just show you there. So that's our Bernays sauce. I'm going to tip that on my steak. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'll put some salad on the side. I won't tip this because I don't want it to end up absolutely everywhere. But I haven't quite seared that at quite the high enough heat, but there you go. So you've got your salad, it's very rare. So you've got your steak and you've got your salad. So what I recommend, I haven't done that on the high heat on the stove. So definitely get the pan up to very high heat. So it literally goes in, you've got your 20 seconds, you've got the butter, and that will seal in all the juices and flavour from the sous vide as well. Now, if you would like to learn more about using your Thermomix, we're curious to try other dishes similar to these, let us know and we can organise for you to connect with your consultant, or if you don't have a consultant, to connect with someone to go through and do a learning cooking experience to show you how to get more out of your Thermomix. So Tracy, if you can just share that up there for me.
The Learning My Thermomix one.
The one, thank you. And while Tracy's sharing that, I'll just let you know at the moment, if you're as passionate and blown away by your Thermomix and want to share that with your family and friends, we do currently have a half-price business kit offer for those who are interested in joining the business, or for those who are looking at upgrading or getting a second machine. If you're interested in investing your time versus your money, so we have some consultants who've actually joined to earn a second Thermomix. I know as a consultant, I have been lucky enough to earn 5 Thermomixes in my time. I'm able to have 2 on my bench here. So if that's something that interests you as well, we'll share that question very shortly if you'd like some additional information. One last thing too, if you have any friends and family who have been pining away over your Thermomix, we do currently have 36 months interest free. So it's as little as $17 per week or just under. So terms and conditions apply with that. But if you have any friends or family that have been sitting on the fence, that's $16.79 or 83, I think it is, per week. And that's till first week in August. So we can send you some additional information on that as well. Do we have any other questions? I mean, we've just done that in about half an hour. We've managed to knock out the seared steak salad. The sous vide steak obviously took an hour and a half, but it was quick and easy. I just popped it in to prepare it before. And the beetroot salad was a total, realistically, it was about 5 minutes with preparing the ingredients for it. So peeling the beetroot straight from the garden. One thing with the beetroot salad that I recommend, if you can get fresh beetroot, it's so much nicer than using tin beetroot or anything. So I really do recommend getting the raw fresh beetroot from the fresh food section, or you can do what I do and grow it so that you've always got it on hand. It's one of my favourite ingredients to work with as well. So thank you very much for joining us this evening. I hope that was helpful, and you're going to try, give the sous vide steak a try. It really is delicious, and it's so tender, and you keep all that nutrition in the meat. You're not losing it in the pan. So it's a great way of doing that. And it's a very popular method used in restaurants and things as well. So have a great evening. Check out our other upcoming events on Linktree, and we look forward to seeing you all soon.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Tracy. Thanks, guys.
Bye.